welcome to Plum Studio. My name is Tahu Najib, and today we have our very good guest, Mr. Shoaib Chaudhary, with us. So, Shoaib, today we would love to know from you regarding an organizational culture. So, according to you, what is one standard and one valuable organizational culture?
Yeah, sure. Actually, very interesting question. I think at any organization, it could be an IT company, it could be your family, or it could be a country, right?
Yeah.
There's a one thing that holds everybody together, and that's called culture,
Yeah, of course.
right? And it's not like something fancy words. It's about living that culture, living those values, practicing those values. That's really matters a lot.
Yes.
So that's the essence of the culture, first of all, not just fancy things.
Yeah.
So in IT industry, for example, the culture should be more like a balancing between the customer's expectations and the employees' expectations, right?
Yeah.
Because obviously, employees are contributing to the organization growth. So there are values, for example, success of the employees, and at the same time the success of the customers. You gotta balance that out. So according to me, the culture is something that you lead by example. Okay. For example, I just give you one scenario. Let's say if you feel like there's something not going right in the organization, so as a leader you take a stand and step in and do the right thing.
Exactly.
Based on whatever the cultural values is. Sometimes consequences might be harsh,
Yeah, of
temporarily. However, because you have already set those as a value of your organization, let's say trust. Trust is very critical for every business, but especially in IT, because customers is trusting you as an organization to make sure their business ideas and their data is confidential, and we want to make sure that our employee understand that as well.
Yeah.
So if anyone in organization is not following that, so as a leader, you have to step in and take that action, right? So, and shouldn't be any compromise, right? So this is just like a one little example. Similarly, let's say organization care about women's empowerment, right? So you can't just put a nice fancy word again on the website. Rather, you actually believe in that, and your hiring practices, your number of employees, like ratio, of women's in the workforce should speak for it. It not be ideal today, but as long as you're following that path, let's say, like a year from 2 years from now, so you show that okay, we're making a progress. So you have to live that culture. And this is critical thing because that also motivate everybody in the organization. Okay, who we are, which direction we're going, what's the overall mindset of the leadership is. And then the people who believe in that mindset, they are passionate every day. They like to come to the work. They like to deliver their best. And end of the day, the customer is the one who get the best service, right? Because you have aligned everybody to the culture of the organization, and then the customers get the most the value of their investment, in the resources, they are paying us, right? So that's, I think, how we can explain the culture,
That sounds amazing, and of course you're very right about these facts. So Shoaib, as you know that you are a founder of your company, Plumlogix. So what are your standards and what are your values in your organization that you are following for your employees and for your clients as well, but more about your employees, that what culture pattern are you following?
Yeah. Number one is the integrity,
Okay.
As I mentioned, trust is the main thing that, we want to make sure that we can trust our employees, we can trust our partners, and all the stakeholders are involved. So that's number one thing, trust and integrity. They go hand in hand. And another one is opportunity for growth. We want to, we really believe in that opportunity for growth for everyone in our organization, right? And that's why we keep investing in our people, right? So we really practice that day to day. I know when we hired people, there many of them, not all of them, but with green resources, we heavily invested in that, and our track record says that. And another important value that we believe that is respect.
Of course.
So
that comes first.
Yeah. So as people who working together as a team, they're like a family, right? But they have to respect each other. Nobody is just like other person, right? When you're working as a team, you work as a family. There will be always friction, but you have to overcome that. Like, look, we are working as a bigger goal of the organization and the customer that you're serving. Whatever their goal is, you should align yourself and respect each other, because every human has their own strengths and weaknesses. So if you understand what it takes, so you deal everybody the same way you like to be dealt by other people, right? So respect is the foundation of having a good culture in the organization, and organization thrives because all of those values: the trust, respect, and investment in those resources, the team. Those are three things. I think the most important things, I would say, for me as a founder of the company.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's perfect. Well, Shoaib, I would like to know that, that because you're a founder and you're a CEO as well, of course, and you must have experienced every step of development and innovation and change and transfer in your organization, in your career path, in actual. So you can know that, like these days, that employees are switching their jobs very swiftly, right? And I guess that's an alarming situation for the HR people especially, and the founder, indirectly and directly the founder as well, because of course it's a concern, because the company keeps on investing in them as well, and they are trying to cooperate with them as well. But of course friction do exist at some point. But other than that, what are your thoughts on this thing? Like, I would ask about your thought or your advice over this.
Yeah, actually, we have firsthand seen different scenarios as a founder. I have been in technology business for the last 20 years.
Okay, that's...
So I have seen ups and downs. And I think circumstances also changes, economic conditions change, COVID also changed a lot of things for everybody. So there are a lot of situations out there that you don't even have any control, right?
Yeah.
So, but if you try to boil it down to the foundation, if you give a good culture to the employees, like I mentioned, they see a potential for growth. Most of them, they do like to stick around. Many younger, generation, they don't probably have the experience that older generations have of loyalty and commitment and sticking to the organization. When I say sticking to the organization, that doesn't mean that like you join the organization, you're there for your entire life. I'm saying that you join the organization, you contribute, you learn a lot of things, and you spend a good amount of time, a decent time. Normally, its tenure is 3 to 6 years, or 10 years. Sometime is a good tenure, and if you see yourself growing in the organization, that's perfect, and I would advise the young folks that look, if the company is investing in your skill set and polishing you and making you like valuable, then you should also think ethically, like, okay, look, I need to give back something to the organization also. And then whenever you want to decide to move on, don't burn your bridges,
Of course,
you should be
it's a small world.
A small world, and you should leave a good references. Somebody approached, organization, like how was that person? So that person in a company should be, organization should be very openly, happily give the references. And that's I would suggest, And my personal belief is that people who do stick around, they're loyal and they have more potential. Because as a founder of the startup, I would say we need leaders, right?
Of course.
So there are few people who can actually play that leadership role, and as a founder, I need to have that trust. So if you establish yourself a trust, then I am in position to, or other senior members are in position to give a more responsibility down the line. So, but how you do that if you don't even have established yourself as a credible person, right? So that's where I would say, the trust factor, comes in. So I would definitely advise, the young folks who are joining the organizations to mature their work ethics. There's a lot of time, they have a lot of time there in their career to grow in different areas. So they should invest and then give back something to the organization. If they have made a commitment to the organization, the worst thing is they break the commitment. So that's obviously hurts the customers, it hurts the organization, and hurt the overall the trust factor, I would say. So that's, I would say, the new generation that's coming, they should keep those things in mind. They have a lot of talent. I'm very happy with the talent they have, energy and the skills they have. But this is another area they need to work on as well. So they will be playing a critical role, in the organization growth and their own career as well. Because every time like you apply to any organization, people do look, and I do look too myself, like look at the career path of this person. So that's critical for me, and I think I have a clear-cut instruction to my HR team. Like they have to pay attention to these details. We do check references for everybody we bring on board. So, and I'm sure a good organization follow the same process, right? So you yourself, if you're building your career, you should keep those things in mind as well, not just monetary instant gratification, or that could be there for short term, but for long term might hurt you. So I hope that helps.
Of course, well, your words are very valuable and very respectable as well, and you're very right about the facts. So, well, that's all for today, Shoaib. Thank you so much for your time. So, we would be right back with our next episode in the Plum Studio. Stay with us. Thank you.